That's right, we are live. It is Friday night. It is March 14th, 2025. As soon as we get this thing kick-started, as soon as we got a couple people hanging out here in the chat with us, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to be talking about silver. We're going to be talking about gold. I have the spot price of both metals pulled up. I'm going to hold off and wait until a couple people join us before we really start diving in. But how's everybody doing tonight? Whoever's here so far, say hi, say hello, say what's up, say F you, say something. Let me know you're there. Let's see. Also getting my laptop situated. Okay. All right, so we have a nice little display. We got some silver rounds up there at the top. We got Sacco for life. What's going on? Welcome to the live stream. This is the first live stream I've done here on YouTube in about a year and a half. So nowadays, I'm not all that known for streaming. And this was also a pretty spur of the moment idea. I got the idea yesterday actually, and I was like, you know what? I said yesterday, I was like, either tonight or tomorrow night, I'm gonna go live. I figured it made more sense to do it today, which at the time was tomorrow. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go live. Haven't done a live stream in a year and a half. But I'm back. And I'm excited. And for those of you who have been tuning in, whether you're watching here on YouTube, whether you're following me over there on X, formerly known as Twitter, you know I'm hyped up and excited right now. I've been hyped up and excited. I'm going friggin' nuts right now. And I've been for the last 2 weeks. We got a lot going on. Let's see. So I have the spot price of both silver and gold pulled up. Let's see. Let's check out silver first. Where did silver close today? Silver, according to Kitco. By the way, if you guys can let me know in the chat, what do you use to check the spot price? Because where I come from, we use Kitco. So on Kitco, silver closed for the week at $33.77 per troy ounce. Down just a hair. Down 9 cents. Or down 0.28%. I'm going to be honest with you. As I expected, I did not think silver was going to move in an upward direction aggressively today. I hoped that it would. But if I had to place a bet on it, I would have bet, I was like, it's probably going to be an anticlimactic day. I was hoping to be wrong. I was hoping to see silver pop. But no. Silver's a tease. And gold. What did gold do today? Touched $3,000. But where did it close, according to Kitco? Gold closed for the week at $2,984.50. Just a tad bit in the red. Down $4.10, which is next to nothing for gold. 0.14%. Still hit an all-time high this week, which I find particularly exciting. Man, I love hearing about that. I love hearing, like, every now and again. You know, just over the last couple of years, I remember, just all of a sudden I see headlines, gold hits a new all-time high, and we're all like, oh my God. It's fun. See, silver and gold, it's like, it's obviously not like stocks. It's similar to a degree in terms of like price movements and whatnot and valuations, but it's very different. And what I like best about silver and gold, see, I'm a weird hybrid. I stack silver and gold, but I'm also an investor, like a stock investor, not a trader. I don't buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. I don't do any of that stuff. I buy and hold long term. I treat my stocks the same way I treat my metals. But the cool thing about the precious metals is I'm genuinely fascinated by coins, and I've always been. Even before I started stacking silver. Even before I picked up my very first ounce of silver. December of 2017. For those of you who are new around here, you might not know this. I started the very end of 2017, but I first learned about the silver stacking concept probably 2015 or maybe 16. I learned about it like a year, year and a half, potentially 2 years. I don't remember. I know it was the winter time. A friend of mine, his name is Steven. Let me tell you the story really quick. John D, welcome aboard. It be pirate money. Yarr. Greetings, members of the DYDSS Nation. So back in 2015 or 2016, I don't remember exactly which year it was, but I know it was the winter time, and it was a cold, snowy day. I know I'm making the story seem a little bit more dramatic, but it truly was a cold, snowy day. I had recently reconnected with this kid that I had gone to like elementary school with. I think I'm from New Jersey. I think he moved to Pennsylvania, I don't know, maybe 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. But prior to him moving, we were decent friends. So we went to different middle schools. Then, of course, obviously, we went to different high schools. We were living in completely different states. Then after high school, I don't know who found who on like Facebook or something like that, but one of us added the other one, and the other one was like, yeah, I remember you, and the other one was like, yeah, and I remember you. What's been going on? And I let him know that me and a couple of my buddies, our buddies, people that he knew from back in the day, we had this little landscape thing going on. And he told me he doesn't have anything interesting going on regarding making money other than just by simply working his job, but he has an interesting way of saving money. And I said, yeah, let's hear it. So he just briefly mentioned it. Silver. He said every week on payday, he goes to the coin shop and picks up 2 silver eagles. I was like, okay. Moving on. Didn't really understand, didn't really know what he was talking about. We weren't really going into great detail about it. He just mentioned it. So, okay. Invited him out to New Jersey. Hey, come on back. Come on home. Come hang out with us for the day, for the weekend or whatever. We'll show you what we got going on over here. We're not, 12-year-olds anymore. We can kind of do whatever we want now. So he came on out to New Jersey. Cold, snowy night. Showed up in a Jeep Wrangler, which I always thought probably wasn't the best type of vehicle to be driving in the snow. It was lifted, too. Wranglers, they tip over pretty easily. Yeah, but anyway. We get to talking, and he was explaining the silver stacking concept to me. He told me that every time he gets paid, he takes, which, by the way, spot price at the time was, I don't know, probably like a hair under $20. So he would go, and he told me he would take about $40 every week to the coin shop, and he'd get 2 silver coins. Every week, 2 silver coins. Every single week. If memory serves me right, I think he was talking about silver eagles. But either way, he told me, picks up a little bit of silver every here and there. Every now and again, gets some more. But every week, on payday, he goes and gets 2 ounces of silver. Now, for this idea to be presented to me for the very first time, I was thinking to myself, what are you talking about? What on God's green earth do those coins have to do with anything? I didn't get it. I didn't understand. Made no sense. And he was explaining to me how the precious metals are actual money and that silver is an astronomically undervalued asset. Which kind of sounds like an oxymoron. Maybe I shouldn't have worded it that way. But point being is that it's incredibly undervalued. And it's real money. So, I was thinking. So, you're going to just take your money and put it into a coin? A piece of metal? Why? Keep in mind, I'm probably a teenager. And this was the first time this topic was even brought to my attention. The first time this topic is brought to anybody's attention, the first time it was brought to your attention, you were probably thinking the same thing. What in the world are you talking about? Stacker Dividend Maker, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. What's your opinion on the audit on Fort Knox? I don't think they're finding any gold there. I don't believe that's where the gold is. Anyway, I'll wrap this thing up. But point being, this is how I was introduced to silver. Childhood friend of mine, moved to a different state, later on reconnected after high school, met up, hung out with a bunch of our childhood friends. And he was explaining the concept to me, and I didn't get it. At the time, it just didn't click. I don't know. I don't know what it was or what it wasn't. It just didn't make sense to me at the time. This was 2015 or 16. And for whatever reason, toward the end of 2017, I don't know what jogged my memory. I don't know what reminded me of the conversation that Steven and I had. But something made me think. I was like, hey, remember when Steven was talking to me about like silver coins and silver bars and trading dollars for these coins and bars and that it's like real money? What in the world was he talking about? It made no sense. But I went onto this website. It's this old archaic website. You've probably never heard of it before. It's called YouTube. And I started typing in like silver coins and people that buy them, something like that. And I came across a couple of YouTube channels. Maybe 4 or 5 YouTube channels. Those were kind of like the go-tos at the time. Really the only channels at the time. 3 of the 5, no disrespect, I found them excruciatingly boring. The other 2, I learned a tremendous amount from. One of the 2 in particular, I learned even more from because he was talking a lot about prepping as well. So I gathered a bunch of information. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I read a bunch of articles. I did my research. And I came to the conclusion that I wanted to start getting a little bit of silver. Just try it out. Get my hands on some. So I went to my local coin shop. December of 2017, and I picked up my very first piece of silver. I was so clueless at the time. I walked in there, I got myself a silver round. And for like 2 weeks, I was calling it a coin. I didn't know there was a difference between a coin and a round. I was like, I don't know, it's a circular piece of silver. What do I know? Mr. Reluctant, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday to you, your friends, your family, your stackers, your local coin shop, your online precious metal dealer. Hey, by the way, if everybody can let me know in the chat, do you remember who first introduced you to silver? Maybe you accidentally stumbled upon a silver stacking YouTube video. Maybe it was a friend, maybe it was a family member. Let me know in the chat, who introduced you to silver? For me, it was a childhood friend of mine named Steven. But anyway, I got that first piece of silver. Oh, you know what? It might be in this pile. Oh, would you look at that? Here it is. This was my very first piece of silver, ever. I completely forgot that I kept it in that little stack right there. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Which, by the way, coming around full circle, what a coincidence that the DYDSS guy, the guy who starts all of his videos with, "It's a great day to have a great day, Mr. Positivity," his first piece of silver says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness on it. And on the other side, the Bill of Rights. Not the Bill of Needs, not the Bill of Wants, the Bill of Rights with the feather quill. My very first piece of silver. Very small pickup. A little 1 troy ounce silver round. Got it from the local coin shop. Even filmed a video of myself acquiring it. Still have that video. But that just goes to show how far back I'd been documenting the journey. I filmed myself walking into a coin shop for the very first time in my life and picking up my very first piece of silver. I have been documenting literally since day one. That was 2017. That was 7.5 years ago. And we're still at it. Mr. Reluctant's dad introduced him to silver. Nice. Nice. I've had family members that had collections and not coin collections, but well, actually, technically, yeah, I did have a family member that had a coin collection. You know what's funny? My grandfather. No, I'm sorry. My great grandfather. This was my grandmother's dad. Never met him, but he took those pill bottles, those little orange pill bottles from like pharmacies and whatnot. And I guess it had to have been around like the mid to late 60s. Like this he must have started doing this in 64, 65, 66. He started putting silver coins, like quarters, dimes, half dollars. He started just tossing a couple of them in these little orange pill bottles. And I think he labeled them. I don't remember what he labeled them. I think he wrote like pre-65 or something like that on them, which at the time, like no one really cared. And this was my great-grandfather, who I had never met. He did this. Next in line would be my grandmother. She never cared. Married my grandfather. He didn't care. Next in line, Mama DYDSS, who, by the way, is on Instagram. You should give her a follow. Mama DYDSS. She didn't care. Next in line, me, yours truly. I didn't care until about 7.5 years ago. And I didn't even know about those pill bottles with pre-65 coins in them until maybe 5 years ago. And when I found those, my grandfather gave it to me because he knows that I, interested in, some coins every now and again. He gave me the little pill bottle. There weren't many in there, just a handful. And he was like, hey, I don't know. And he told me that my grandmother's dad set them aside, and he said there might be something special about them. And I was like, yeah, they're made out of money. That's what's special about them. These aren't currency coins. These are money coins. But I think he just did that because I don't know why he did that. I don't think he really knew or fully understood the power or the significance of pre-65 coins. He might have just did it because he was like, hey, here's a handful of like of coins from the last year that they were made out of this type of metal before they transitioned to a different type of metal. Maybe he just thought, he was like, hey, that's kind of cool. It's the last year that these coins are made the way that they were, and he just tossed them aside. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. Never met the guy. Can't ask him. But he wasn't a coin collector. My great aunt's father, who, she's like half Native American or something like that. I'm not actually related to her. I'm related to my great uncle, and he married her, so we're not blood relatives, but we're family, obviously. Her father was like a world traveling engineer, and he collected coins from all over the world, and his stash was actually given to me. I have it. Made a video about it. In fact, I'm going to find it right now. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about if you guys want to go take a peek. Let's see. All around the world, I think, had something to do with the title. Yep. 125 foreign coins collected around the world. This was my, as I called them at the time, stackumentary video. So, if you're interested, it's a public video. You can go find this on my channel. Just type in on YouTube, Mykie DYDSS 125 foreign coins or something like that. You'll be able to find it. But it's coins from all over the place, all around the world. Little different than stacking for long-term wealth preservation, which is what I'm into. I'm not really a coin collector, but it's kind of cool that, like, the interest in coins runs in the family, even though I'm not blood related to them. Hey, by the way, if you're watching this, if you could do me a favor and hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. It kind of gives the video a little bit of a boost in the algorithm, and it kind of gets pushed out to more people who might not be familiar with my channel, so I'd appreciate that. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I remember my first piece of silver, good times. What was your first piece of silver, if you don't mind me asking? For me, it was a guy at work. He kept offering to buy people's change. The thing with coins, it's difficult to understand why someone would pay X amount of dollars for, say, $1 fee. Yeah, no. It's true. It's true. I mean, let's see. Man, I haven't even picked up junk silver in God knows how long. But if the spot price is, let's just say $34, let's round that up to $36 for a premium. Divide that by 6, because there's 6 quarters in about an ounce of silver, and then times that by 4, we get $24, give or take. $24, maybe $25 for $1 face value. So 4 silver quarters. 4 Washington quarters. Who in their right mind would pay more than $1 for 4 quarters? I would. I'd pay about $25 max. Because it's what it's worth. As long as those Washington quarters are pre-65, we're good. You know what's crazy? Last year, I found my very first pre-65 quarter in loose change. 7 years of stacking. 7 years of sifting through coins. I have found a tremendous amount of pre-1982 copper pennies, but that's obviously a little different. 7 years. Hadn't found any. And then I found, I believe it was a 64 quarter. And not too long after, I found a 1964 dime. Found them both last year. 7 years. 7 years. But yeah, that is funny though. Speaking of junk silver, 90% constitutional. It's really hard to get someone to understand that. It's really hard to get someone to understand that 4 quarters, 4 little Washington quarters, 25-cent pieces, as long as they're pre-65, worth about $24, $25 right now. $1 face value for 25 bucks? What? Makes no sense. Make it make sense. Let's see. That's how my dad did it. I have the same 2-ounce poured bar. The little silver brick right there, that guy. I love this thing, man. That's a thick little piece of silver. That's a nice little silver brick we have here. And that down there at the bottom right, that's the 3-ounce version of it. It's not as thick, but I got this around Halloween time a couple years ago because well, not for whatever reason, for obvious reasons, it always reminded me of a tombstone. Every time I saw a picture of this thing, I was like, man, that thing looks like a tombstone. So one year, maybe 2021 maybe? I don't recall off the top of my head. I picked this thing up around Halloween time. It was October, and I made several. I used this thing for so many Halloween videos. It just reminded me of a tombstone. And by the way, there's a 5-ounce version of it as well, which I was for a while meaning to get my hands on. Forgot all about it. But thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for reminding me. That might be one of the next pieces that I go ahead and grab. I'm going to be honest. Once I get back to work, I'm out on an injury right now. And hopefully, in 7 days or less, I'm cleared to return. I'm on a driving restriction too right now. Hurt my back, well, for the first 2 weeks, I was referring to it as a back injury. Went to a back specialist, and the back specialist believes that it's probably going to be considered a shoulder injury, because he believes it's the shoulder muscle that's connected to the back. Bottom of the right shoulder blade. Not that any of this matters, but I can't wait to get back to work, man. I can't wait to, I can't wait to get back to the grind. I need to get back to the grind. Want to know why? Because I can't invest as much. I haven't been able to invest as much. I haven't been able to stack as much. These last 2 or 3 weeks, I've had to be extra frugal. Workers' comp only gives you 70%. And guess what? They only give you 70% of what you make at the job that you got hurt at. They don't care that I have a second job. So I'm only making 70% of one job and 0% of the other. I am banging my head on the wall right now. You have no idea how brutal this has been. Not to mention, it friggin' hurts. I am feeling a little bit better. It has been about 2.5 weeks. I'm actually noticing the recovery process now. God, it took 2 weeks of like pure agony to even begin feeling 1% better, but I'm slowly rebuilding. But my God, I'm used to the 70-hour work weeks. I'm used to the grind. I'm used to hustling. I'm not used to, bed rest. Ugh. Relaxation? In this economy? Absolutely not. Let's see. Last year I found a 64 quarter in the wild. It was in the coin return of a Coinstar machine. That's the only time for me so far. Wow. Whoever used that Coinstar machine, was blind. You know, that's got to be a really good business. Owning a Coinstar machine. Have any of you ever owned a vending machine, by the way? Or know anybody that ever has? That's something that I've been wanting to do for years. That sounds like a fun side hustle. That sounds like a fun way to make a little bit of money. I know it's nice, but be sure not to rush back. Yeah, I know. It's just, it's rough because, man, it's the driving restriction too. If I'm medically not allowed to drive at the moment, that means, number one, I have to ask people for rides, which is irritating. It's irritating for me to ask. I don't love people constantly hitting me up being like, hey, can you give me a ride? Can you give me a ride? I wouldn't like it. So I don't like doing that to other people. And two, I'm forced to. Okay, fine, it is what it is. So I ask, and if they say yes, here's the problem. Now I got to do everything on their schedule. There are times where I'm like, hey, I got to get to the store. Got to buy a little bit of food. You know, would you mind taking me there? If you give me a ride, I'll buy your food too, or whatever. She said, yeah. This is Mama DYDSS, by the way. Follow her on Instagram, guys. Mama DYDSS. Here, I'll type her link in the chat. Let's see. So, and she doesn't mind. She doesn't mind at all. She has been a tremendous help. She lives like 5 minutes away from me. It's pretty convenient. That's her Instagram link in the chat if anybody would like to follow Mama DYDSS. But here's the thing. I'm like, hey, tomorrow, would you mind bringing me to the wholesale club? I gotta buy a little bit of food. Your son's starving over here. And he's in pain. And he can't move. And he's not allowed to drive right now. Till the doctor says I'm better. She said, yeah. I was like, okay. So I wake up. And I have to lay there for 9 hours waiting. Because she has work. She's got her life, her schedule. She's got to do her thing too. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying, like, it drives me up the wall having to, do things on other people's schedules. I have a perfectly intact car sitting outside of my house. It's just driving me up the wall. I have a car. I have a license. I have my glasses. I can see. And in theory, I could drive. It would hurt like hell, but I could drive. So yeah, it's just been, 2.5 weeks of pain, boredom, frustration, and you know how doctors are. Talk to 20 different doctors, you get 21 different opinions. So it's just been a whole thing. Can't wait to get back though. I have a feeling, I have a really good feeling, the end of this upcoming week, so next week, around this time next week, I will be seeing a shoulder specialist. And I have a good feeling. Another 5 or 6 days go by. In a perfect world, I'll be feeling a little bit better then than I am now. And I'm feeling a little bit better now than I was a week ago. Fast forward another 5 or 6 days, see the shoulder specialist. Maybe I can get that driving restricted lifted. And get back to work. See, that's the only thing keeping me from work. My job is, my job is a friggin' hike to get to. And if I'm at a driving restriction, can't get there. And I got hurt at work because of someone else's negligence. So I said, hey, Unless he wants to get me an Uber, I can't get there. Speaking of Uber, over the summer, for like 2 months, even though I was working 2 jobs, I was doing Uber Eats after work or on my one day off. See, I have like a day and a half off of both jobs. I work 6 days at one and 3, 4, sometimes 5 at the other. But there's one day of the week I get out early at my main job and I don't have my other job. So I have that entire night to myself, and then I have the entire following day to myself. Every single week I have it set up like that on purpose to give myself a day and a half of rest. Over the summer, I was spending that day and a half doing Uber Eats. So I'm thinking to myself this whole time, I'm like, oh my God, if I could drive, I could be doing Uber Eats right now. I could be doing something productive. Anyway, enough of that. Here's the last thing I'll say about it, though. I understand why my grandparents scream at pharmacists on the phone. I understand why they get in shouting matches with their doctors on the phone. It is confusing and frustrating. This is my first time in my entire adult life that I've actually had to deal with doctors and pharmacists and appointments and x-rays and MRIs and back specialists and shoulder specialists and potentially physical therapy coming up. This is the first time in my entire adult life I've had to deal with any of this nonsense. I get it. My first day, I have a prescription sent to a pharmacy. I'm like, hey, send it to this one particular pharmacy in this one particular store. I give the town that it's in, the town being here in New Jersey. I get there, and they're like, oh, we don't have anything. Nothing got sent to us. Like, well, what do you mean nothing got sent to you? I literally... They sent it to you before I even left to come here. They called the doctor that put in the order. He said, we put it in. And he resubmitted it. As it turns out, he sent it to friggin' Rhode Island. I'm here in New Jersey. I understand the frustration. I understand why grandparents scream at pharmacists and doctors. I get it. All right, enough of that. I'm done ranting. No, it wasn't Walgreens, but I did have another issue with Walgreens. I'm not even going there. Skull Guy, welcome aboard, by the way. Get more ninja skills, buy more silver. That's right. If you lived across the way, you'd have access to much better public transportation. Not safer though. Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. I mean, like, Uber exists, taxis exist, but like, at the same time, I'm kind of unwilling to pay for someone else to drive me somewhere when I have a perfectly intact car sitting right outside my house with a perfectly valid driver's license and perfect crystal clear vision glasses. For an injury that was someone else's negligence. By the way, not like a life-altering injury. It's more than likely a really, really, really bad strain and a grade 1 tear, which can heal on its own without requiring surgery. That's most likely what it is. I do have a really high pain tolerance, so in theory, the muscle could be torn off the bone and need surgery, but I'd be very surprised if it's that extreme. Anyway, enough about injuries, enough about doctors and pharmacists and medicine, and that's just basically a summary of what my last 2.5 weeks have been. Anyway, let's get back into the silver. Let's get back into the gold, back into the money. Let's see. Here's a question for everybody. What did you start stacking first? Silver or gold? That's part 1 to the question. Part 2 to the question is, how soon after stacking the first metal did you start also stacking the other metal too, regardless of which one came first? See, for me, it was silver, tail end of 2017, and I think maybe around, this was December of 2017, and I would say probably maybe March of 2018, I picked up my very first little teeny tiny micro piece of gold. A couple months. Got right back into the silver, though. Silver was at the time and still is my precious metal of choice. And it's not just because of the gold to silver ratio. It's not just because of the price. It's because of a lot of things. Those things do have to do with it. I think both metals are undervalued, but I think silver is far more undervalued. I think silver has far more room to pop, if you know what I mean. John, welcome aboard, welcome aboard. A dog tore my leg off? Good God. Do I even want to ask what kind of dog it was? Or are you going to give me the answer that I'm assuming you're going to give me? I hate it. I hate that every single time somebody tells me that they got bit by a dog or they had a horrible experience with a dog, I hate that it's always the same breed. I'm a big fan of that breed, by the way. Silver, same here. I buy 2 ounces of silver and 1 ounce of gold every month until I can afford more. 2 ounces of silver and 1 gram of gold. I was gonna say that's a lot. That's a lot of gold, and not a lot of silver. That's a weird personal gold to silver ratio. 2 to 1. Wow. Drew, welcome aboard, welcome aboard, welcome aboard. Happy Friday to you, your friends, and your family. What do you think about platinum? I have a bit because I believe in diversifying even within an asset class. You know, I have nothing bad to say about platinum or palladium. I have one little teeny tiny piece of platinum. It was actually given to me as a gift. I've never in my 7.5 years of stacking converted my own dollars into platinum or palladium. I don't really have an interest in stacking them. I don't think I couldn't really see myself going after platinum or palladium. If an opportunity presented itself to me, if for some crazy reason I stumbled upon an opportunity to get some at spot or maybe even below spot, I couldn't see myself turning that down. That would be a fun thing to pick up. That would be cool. But I'm not really I'm not hunting for platinum and palladium. I have zero problem with it though. And I'm a big believer in diversification. Yeah, it sure was. Oh man, sorry to hear that. If you don't mind me asking, when you say the dog tore your leg off, you mean it like chewed your leg up? Or did it remove your leg from your body? I got a gram of platinum. Probably good for my girlfriend manicure. Middle finger. I feel like it could be a good option to potentially convert into gold in the future. It could very well be. It could be. And like I said, I have no problem with platinum. By the way, speaking of platinum, Have you guys ever seen an American Platinum Eagle? We've all seen the Silver Eagle. We've all seen the Gold Eagle. Did you know that there's a Platinum Eagle and a Palladium Eagle? If memory serves me right. Palladium Eagle coin. Yep. So the Palladium Eagle coin actually looks like... It kind of looks like... Here, I'll just do it on my phone. That way I can show you. That way you don't have to switch apps or be left in the dark for what I'm talking about. Palladium Eagles. They look like Mercury dimes on one side. Palladium Eagle coin. This is a Palladium Eagle. We've all seen Silver Eagles. We've all seen Gold Eagles. Well, guess what? The U.S. Mint also produces Palladium Eagles. Many people don't know this. Good looking coin. You want to know an even better looking coin? The Platinum Eagle. Let me Google this really quick. Platinum Eagle coin. This is something that I want. This is something I would really like to get one of these. Look at that right there. Look at that, Lady Liberty. And the eagle. You guys recognize that sun in the background? Of the reverse? Right side? That sun in the bottom left corner behind the eagle? That sun right there. Here, let me do it like this. It might be too dark to see. It's the same sun as you see on the Silver Eagle. Obverse. Just a fun fact. So anyway, yeah, there's the Silver Eagle, there's the Gold Eagle, but there's also the Platinum and Palladium Eagle as well that many people don't even know exist. Removed from the body. Jesus Christ. Sorry to hear that happened. That's horrendous. Relic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you, your friends, and your family. I wonder if there's any platinum or palladium in normal circulation unknowingly by us. I'd be very surprised. Not into Statue of Liberty. Pagan goddess, sorry. Alright. I have, but much like ASE and AGE, the platinum coins from other sovereign mints carry a lower premium. Very true. They're just very uncommon. American platinum and palladium eagles. You don't hear a lot of people talking about them. You don't see a lot of videos showing them. You don't even hear them brought up. I knew about the Platinum Eagle, but I definitely didn't know about the Palladium. Yeah, no, it's a coin. It is a real coin. It's a beautiful coin. And if memory serves me right, I mean, don't do it because the premiums are obnoxious, but if memory serves me right, I'm pretty sure you can get the Platinum one in fractional denominations. I don't think you can get fractional Palladium coins or Palladium Eagles. I'm pretty sure you can get... I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me... Platinum Eagle half ounce? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you can get Yeah, I think you can get 1 ounce, half ounce, quarter ounce, and 10th ounce platinum. The premiums make absolutely no sense, but you can. You know, the premiums on fractional platinum eagles are kind of similar to the premiums on fractional gold buffaloes. Makes no sense. The money that you would pay for a 10th ounce gold buffalo would be almost the same as just simply picking yourself up a quarter ounce gold anything else. The premiums are so high, you'd put the same amount of currency into a 10th ounce gold coin, or about the same amount into a 10th ounce gold coin as you would into almost any other quarter ounce gold coin. So in a situation like that, just get the quarter ounce gold, anything else. That gold buffalo has been calling my name for years. I've been talking about it since probably 2018. Somewhere around there. So probably 6, maybe 7, 5, 6, 7 years I've been wanting a gold buffalo. A 1 ounce, but I don't know. I've just never really been able to bring myself to put that much currency into just one piece. That's a lot of value being stored in just one unit. I personally prefer fractional gold. I think quarter ounce and half ounce denominations are kind of like the sweet spot. Yeah, the premiums are a little bit higher than just by going for a 1 ounce gold coin, but a little bit easier to liquidate, a little bit easier to work with. It's like having a $100 bill compared to having two $50 bills. Or a couple of 20s or 10s or whatever. I like fractional. I like slightly smaller denominations, but not too small. And the largest denomination I have is a quarter ounce gold Philharmonic. I would like to get myself a half ounce, probably gold maple leaf. I think that's probably what I want to go for. But I really want a 1 ounce gold buffalo. I just don't know if I could bring myself to put that much currency into one unit. Let's see. Back to the chat. Also, do you have any gold or silver predictions for the year? You know, I was actually thinking about this. I hate when people put out like these big prediction videos because it gets everybody all like, I don't know. I mean, everybody likes to put out like 500 different predictions, and if they get it right, they're like, "Oh, see, I told you." So I don't really like the whole prediction thing, but I was thinking about it. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a stock conversation, but a couple months ago, just for the meme, everybody got all like crazy because Tesla closed the day at 420.69. The share price of Tesla was 420.69, and everybody thought that that was like the funniest possible thing that could have happened that day. So I was thinking, what happens if silver this year? See, I was going to put out like an official prediction, but this isn't. I don't know if I believe that this will happen this year. What if? Just a what if. What if silver hit 45.47? Huh? What about that? What if silver hit 45.47? Sometime within the next 3.5 to 4 years. Just imagine how bonkers that would be. It was just a bad bite. I still got my leg. I lied, thought it would be more humorous. Oh, okay. Well, In that case, good God. People say I have dark humor. Fractional is best no matter which metal. Even for silver? You think like little like half-ounce silver bars and whatnot are best? Or are you like more so referencing 90% silver? Which is still fractional. Awkward fractions. 1/3, 1/6, and 1/14 ounce coins. See, what I think, you know, I've been saying this for years. You know how I just said I think like quarter ounce, maybe half-ounce gold coins are kind of like the sweet spot because you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You're getting a slightly bigger piece of gold, but not the 1 ounce denomination or a 2 ounce bar or anything like that. You're not putting an immense amount of value into one unit. It's not that big, but you're on the fractional level without paying as high of a premium as you would for a 10th ounce, 20 ounce, or a 1 gram gold bar. So I think the quarter ounce or maybe half ounce is kind of like the sweet spot for gold. Well, same could be said about silver, except I would say the sweet spot for silver would be 10-ounce bars. I've been saying this for years. I've said it. I said it a couple days ago in that video that I posted about 10-ounce silver bars. I explained in that video why I believe 10-ounce silver bars are the sweet spot. It's because the larger the denomination you go with, the lower the premiums are going to be. 2 ounce, you're not really going to notice a difference. 5 ounce, you're really not going to notice a difference. 10 ounce is when you actually start to notice the difference. Like, okay, this is breaking down the premiums by going bigger. It's like buying something at a grocery store versus buying the same thing of a larger quantity, or a larger size rather, at the wholesale club. If you were to get the same amount of stuff from the grocery store, you'd be paying more. That's the premium. Go to the wholesale club, you break down the premium, and it ends up being cheaper. Wholesale prices. That's how I see the 10-ounce silver bars. So at the 10-ounce denomination, you actually start to notice a difference in the premiums by going bigger. But at the same time, you're not going too big. You're not going with a big block of silver that's so... that's such a monster of a block of silver, it might be hard to get rid of. Kilo bars, right now, not a problem to get rid of. Spot price goes to $40, $50, $60, $70, might be a little bit tougher to get rid of. Because you need somebody who has the amount of cash that it's worth to exchange it. Or enough gold that they'd be willing to trade it for. So the larger the denomination, the harder it might be to get rid of. The less liquid it could potentially be. Or at the very least, draws a couple of roadblocks for you. It's easier to get rid of smaller denominations, but the larger denominations carry lower premiums. So meet in the middle. Find that happy medium. 10-ounce silver bars. That's what I say. By the way, if everybody can do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that like button, the thumbs up button on the video. I'd appreciate it. Gives the video a little bit of a boost in the algorithm and could potentially help get more eyeballs on the channel. I'd appreciate that. Closing in on 20,000 subscribers, by the way. That's friggin' nuts. Really appreciate the support, everybody. Truly do. We are less than 300 away from 20,000. It's crazy. Let's see. Michael Bonner, welcome aboard. Happy Friday night to you, your friends, and your family. Let's see. 1 gram, fractional gold. Got a few of them. Those are nice. Those are definitely nice. Hey, you know what else is nice? Speaking of bars, you know what else are nice? The Britannia bars. Have you guys seen those? Those are beautiful works of art. I could see a new all-time high for silver within the next 2 years, like gold did this year. Could very well be the case. Could very well be the case. And what's funny is that it wouldn't really take that much for that to occur. I mean, if silver's at about, $34-ish right now, what would it need to do? All it would really need to do is surpass the 50 mark, right? Which I know, going from 34 to 50 for silver isn't exactly, a walk in the park. But it's already like almost 3/4 of the way there. So yeah, another 25 to 30%. Yeah, that is tough. But it's also possible. It's not like we're sitting here being like, yeah, if only it could just go up another 212%. No. We're just looking for another 25 to 30%. That's actually possible. That's not like a wildly unrealistic hope. But I would really emphasize the word hope there. I wouldn't say I wouldn't call it an expectation. I wouldn't expect it to do that. It could. It very well could. I don't know if I could see it happening though. Not this year. Maybe. I don't know. It's so I kind of can, but I kind of can't. It's one of those things. It's weird. And, on the other hand, I also don't want it to. I want it to stay cheap. That way I can get some more. For selfish reasons, I would like for silver to fall, actually. But at the same time, I would like it to take off. I want to have my cake and eat it too, is what I want. Let's see. With grid down, silver may go higher than 47. Could, yeah, could. We get a lot of silver from Mexico. I was reading an article just yesterday. I knew we got a lot of silver from Mexico, but I didn't know how much silver we get from Mexico. You're right, 10 ounce. Yeah, I think 10-ounce silver bars are... honestly, I think 10-ounce silver bars are like the move. It's the happy medium. Get a little bit of extra silver for a little bit lower of a premium. And they're extremely liquid. Even if silver went to $50, $75, $100, that's still extremely liquid. It's still, at the end of the day, only 10 ounces. Trump would definitely take credit for that. Yeah, no, he would. I did it. I made silver go to $45.47. It was me. I did it. I still like silver though. I like the kilos and 10 ounce Engelhardt's, Johnson, Matthew, Amar. Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice. Especially the A marks. I have quite a few A mark rounds. Per kilo or 25 ounce. Hey, you know what else is an interesting bar? The 10 ounce Kit Kat bar. You ever see the silver Kit Kat bar? That's an interesting piece of silver. It's a Scottsdale product, if memory serves me right. The Scottsdale Kit Kat bar, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I've just always believed that silver is manipulated, making it quite possible. Yeah. Yeah. Vintage Perth Kilo. Nice rounds. Got one. Am I correct? Yeah, it is Scottsdale. I'd like some Johnson Matthew rounds. I got the 83 Engelhard round, the rare one. That is something I don't know if I'm familiar with. Let me see. 83. Is it the one? Oh, wait. Is it the 25th anniversary one? Wow. You too can have this silver round for only $79.99. Man. I was just about to bring something up. What was I just going to say? What is the name? What is that name? It's, oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. The silver rounds, it's also a stock, and if you own like 100 shares of the stock, you get like discounted silver on their site or something like that. I don't buy the stock, and I don't have any of their rounds, but I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I just had it. Their silver rounds look like it has their branding on it. Oh my god, why can't I remember the name? First Majestic Silver Corp is a Canadian silver mining company that operates in Mexico and the United States. It has 4 producing mines under its control. San Dimas silver gold mine. Let's see. Santa Elena silver gold mine. La Encantada silver mine, and Jarrett Canyon gold mine. First Majestic. Their branding is actually pretty cool. The FM little logo that they have going on the silver, for whatever reason, it always reminded me of something that you'd see on like some like office door or something like that. It just seems like I don't know. They're silver rounds. They just look so official. I like them. I've always wanted one. I love the new Morgan remakes, cheaper than the U.S. coin ones. Aren't the new ones? The new ones are pure silver, correct? Look at the yeah. First mint. Is that their ticker symbol? AG? I don't own the stock. I can't see myself ever buying the stock. I personally don't like buying silver. I don't really like mining stocks. Oh yeah, it is. AG. I'm not into mining stocks. I'm also not into paper, silver, and gold, precious metal ETFs. I don't do that. When it comes to precious metals, you know what I get? I get physical precious metals. Now, don't get me wrong. I love stocks, and I love ETFs and index funds, and I do invest in that way. I just don't like investing in, like, precious metal-related stocks. That's just me. Just not my style. First Majestic is the mining company. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. First Majestic or First Mint. Their silver rounds are really nice. No substitute for silver is their slogan. It's a good slogan. Let's see. How long have we been going for? Man, it's been over an hour already? Wow. Alright, I can close some of these tabs. We don't care about the spot price at the moment. We went over that. Alright, let's see. Gold mining stocks, bullish. I don't buy them either. I prefer physical myself and no risk. Yeah, I mean, the only upside to like the paper silver and paper gold would be like instantaneous liquidity. Like no questions asked, instantaneous liquidity. But I'm not really looking for liquidity at the end of the day, because I'm hoping to not sell is what I'm hoping to do, and I'd rather have the physical. I'd rather have the coins, the rounds, and the bars. Mainly just because I just enjoy coins, rounds, and bars. I like looking at them. I like having them. It's like a kid with a toy. I like it. They're fun. I think the coins, rounds, and bars are fun. Goes back to if you don't hold it, you don't own it for me. Yeah. I understand that. Guys, my kid just got home, so I'm gonna jump off. Have a great night and even better weekend. You as well. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for supporting the show. And hopefully catch you on the next one. Have a great rest of your night and weekend. Exactly, gold mining stock might make it big, not part with their shareholders. Could also be the case. But even from like a numbers point of view, man, like they underperform. Like they don't give the returns that I'm looking for. Like if you look at a lot of these mining stocks and you look at the 1 year, the 5 year, a lot of them are in the red. They've been going down for the last year, the last 5 years. They've had their ups and stuff like that, but I don't know. I mean, it's such a niche thing. I'd rather have more exposure. I like index funds. That's why I like index funds. See, if I'm gonna invest, it's more than likely gonna be an index fund. There's like less than 10 individual stocks that I will buy into if I see a dip or a buying opportunity. But if I'm gonna invest, that's how I'm gonna be doing it. If I'm gonna stack, if I'm gonna go near precious metals, it's going to be with physical precious metals. I just like to have them. I just like to, hold it in my hand and look at it. I have the Silver Eagle in my hand right now. The Type 1, of course. Type 2. No bueno. Still not a fan of the Type 2. But I got a Type 1 in my hand right here. And I don't know. I mean, I think part of it, I obviously I believe in the silver and the gold long term, and I do believe it can do a fantastic job hedging against inflation, but also at the same time, it's just kind of a hobby of mine too. I enjoy it. Whoa, Drew, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Shiny new cars, silver mines are disappearing, and our silver supply is running out. Keep a hold of what you have. Yeah. Hey. There will be, at some point in the future, there will be no more silver left to mine. I don't know if that'll be during my lifetime, but at some point in the future, somewhere down the line, the last ounce of silver will be mined. You know, they talk about that with crypto and whatnot. You know how there's how many bitcoins are there? 21 what's that number? How many? 21 million bitcoins. How they say, you know, eventually the very last bitcoin will be mined, digitally mined. Well, to put it in a precious metal point of view, at some point in the future, the very last ounce of silver will be mined. Imagine that. You know the scary thing about thinking about silver becoming more scarce over time? Is that moving into the future, we're going to need more silver then than we even do right now. Silver is going to be even more important in the future. People think we live in a tech world right now. Imagine fast forwarding another 10 to 50 years. Everything on the planet's going to be digital. We might be digital. We might not have to drive to work anymore. Maybe we could just press a little button and our hologram will just appear at work and get the job done. I'm being facetious, but also at the same time, as we like technologically advance, I mean, silver's needed for semiconductors, it's needed in solar panels. Silver's needed for so many different things. So imagine like when everything on the planet is computerized. People think everything's already computerized. No, it is not. We have not even scratched the surface with just how tech we can get. Silver's going to be needed for stuff like that. And with everything going solar nowadays, let's see. AI is going to be huge. Yeah, AI is going to be weird, is what it's going to be. Be like the Fifth Element. Morgan, welcome to the stream. Happy Friday to you, your friends, and your family. Yeah, AI is going to be weird. I don't know how many of you saw the video, but like 2 or 3 days ago, I posted a video titled 5 Ways AI Can Help Us and Hurt Us. And it was talking about some of the pros and cons to artificial intelligence and what it may or may not have to offer at some point in the future. Also talking about some of the companies like Apple as an example, Amazon as another example, investing 100 million, 150 million, 500 million dollars AI infrastructure right here in the US. I'm sorry, 100 billion, 150 billion, 500 billion, with a B, not an M. Billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that these companies are going to be investing over the next couple of years into AI infrastructure right here in the US. Which is also a good thing because they're going to be doing it either way, and it's better to do it here than somewhere else. That creates, that's hundreds of billions of dollars being invested in creating a lot of jobs here in the US, which is great news. Plus, if you ask me, America needs to start making stuff again. Nobody buys anything from America. Everybody makes something. We don't really make a whole lot. So, if we can kind of bring back that made in America thing, that'd make me really happy. Even if it's semiconductors for cyborgs. That'd be cool though. I wouldn't mind, sending a robot to work. I noticed the fade. Haven't seen it yet. If you do go to check it out, the fun thing about that video is I actually used a little bit of AI to help me make that video. I did it on purpose for that reason. I was like, you know what? I want to make a video about AI. So I'm going to ask AI a question, have it answer it for me, and I'm going to run with that for a portion of the video. So part of that video is actually AI. And it's a video about AI. I did that on purpose. I want to see how it would go. It was fun. Weird, but it's fun. Do you see yourself as a prepper as well? I've seen certain videos of yours and was definitely wondering what your take was. To tell you the truth, I've been big time prepping for 7 or 8 years now. Probably longer. But I didn't discover the whole quote unquote prepping as a concept until about 7 or 8 years ago, right around the time I kind of started to discover silver. But I actually got started back in, what year was it? 2012 or 13? Whenever Hurricane Sandy was. Now I know Hurricane Sandy wasn't it obviously wasn't a tsunami, and we didn't deal with complete and total catastrophic damage here in New Jersey, but we did lose power for maybe about a week and a half. No power whatsoever. This area of New Jersey was in the dark for at least a week. I remember working at the time, and generators were only keeping certain sections of buildings up and running. Everything was cash only because we could you couldn't use cash registers because they were electronic. Couldn't use ATMs because they were electronic. It was it was a nightmare and a half. And I remember back then seeing people pull up to grocery stores in BMWs. A guy would get out with a suit, the girl would get out with a Louis Vuitton bag or whatever. Well-off people that had money, but they didn't have cash. And these people driving nice cars and wearing nice clothes were just casually walking out of stores with a loaf of bread, milk, or whatever. They'd steal it. Because they're like, dude, we have the money, we just don't have the means to pay. It's all they have credit cards, debit cards, thousands and thousands of dollars in an ATM, but the ATM is inaccessible, and you can't swipe your credit card on the machine because it's electronic and there's no power. It was a wreck. And I remember around that time, everything that I learned from my grandfather started to actually make sense. My grandfather, he's like the ultimate prepper, but like a sensible prepper, not one of those like paranoid, the sky's about to fall type of preppers. He's one of those like, like if the power goes out, or if there's a snowstorm, or something's going on, he has the equipment that you're going to need. And not only does he have the equipment, he has backup equipment for the equipment. So Hurricane Sandy is kind of what woke me up, and that's what kind of got me into a little bit more like, all right, let me prepare myself in case the power goes out. Let me prepare myself and load up on a couple little things just in case. So that's kind of where the ball got rolling at first, and then 2016, 17, when I started, becoming a little bit more familiar with like the online prepping community and also the stacking community, I came across a couple of channels, and it kind of really got the ball rolling. It really gave me some momentum. I've been making videos for like 5, 6, 7 years at this point. I have Berkey water filtration systems, like it's a water purification system is what it is, not just a filtration system. I have multiple Jackery, um, like portable generators, power banks, stuff like that. I remember during COVID, see, that's what I did. I spent 2017, 18, and 19 prepping just in case. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if anything was going to happen. All I knew is that if something happens, I'd rather, you know, I'd rather, have something and not need it than to need something and not have it. So I prepared myself in almost every way that I could. I went and got myself like, I remember I did a lot of food prepping. I had like probably 30 or 40 cans of like canned goods. I had like probably like close to 15 like boxed pastas and things like that. I had 5 gallon buckets with MREs in them. I had another 5 gallon. I still have a 5 gallon bucket like that's completely packed with like first aid supplies. It's like a 5 gallon first aid kit is what I called it. And you can go back and look at some of my old videos. They're still on my channel. I've posted hundreds of prepping videos over the years. I haven't really in a while, but I did all of this prepping 2017, 18, 19, and then when 2020 happened, guess who got to sit back with his feet up, watching all the other people on TV fighting in Walmart because they didn't have any they didn't have a they didn't have an extra roll of paper towels in their house. They didn't have, an extra friggin' piece of candy in their house to eat. God forbid there's an emergency. They weren't prepared in any way, shape, or form. Most people weren't. They were getting in fights in Walmart, Target, Costco, parking lots all over the place. People were fighting over toilet paper, cases of water. Guess who had all of that stuff? Years worth of that stuff stockpiled right here with me. I was kicking back. I was like, you know what? I was prepping for years. I didn't know what I was prepping for, but now I know. Now I know what I was prepping for. I knew something was probably going to happen at one point or another. Didn't know it was going to be a worldwide health crisis. I thought it was going to be another hurricane or something like that. But point being is that it's better to have something and not need it than to need something and not have it. And I spent years not only prepping, but documenting how I was prepping, why I was prepping, how much it was costing me to prep, and how simple it can be for the average Joe. For example, when it comes to food prepping, you see a lot of these prepper channels, and they take you into their little doomsday bunkers, and they have like a whole grocery store like in like a hidden part of their house. It doesn't need to be that extreme. Next time you go to the grocery store, let's just say you're gonna buy like let's just say you're going to be buying 5 canned goods. That's just what's on your list. You're going to be buying 5 canned goods either way. Buy 6. 5 for the week. one for the food pantry, your own personal food pantry, like your food prepping pantry. Next week, do the same thing. Buy another 5 for yourself for the week, plus another. Guess what? Now you have 2. By the time a year goes by, you have 52 canned goods sitting there. And what does that cost you? An extra $1 or $2 a week to prepare yourself? It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. Very doable. Sorry, I've been going off for a minute. I have not been looking at the chat. Let me come back to here now. When blind children see from it, people will be demanding it. Yeah. Back to the whole AI thing. Yeah. You know, I was actually just talking to man, who was I talking to? I don't know. I forget who I was talking to about it, but I said that's probably going to be one of the next big things. It's probably going to be like, you know how we have smartphones, smartwatches, smart cars. I think probably maybe not the next big wave, but at some point in the next couple of years, smart contacts. Little lens pop into your eye just like you do regular contacts, but smart contact. And it's probably going to do more than just enhance your vision. That's my honest prediction. And it's not that far-fetched because it probably already exists. Let's see. Agreed, the claim of miracles all counterfeit. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it will be the mark of the beast? AI? Could be. Could very well be. Eventually, society will only accept Neuralink to participate in society or be left behind with all the advancements as AI improves itself and shoots forward at alarming rate. Yeah, you know what? Like, the speed at which we are advancing is getting faster and faster and faster. It's like, the more time goes by, the faster things change. Like, we're no longer, like... See, I kind of feel like... This is going to sound like a psychotic example. But in the year 1992... Just random year. If you went into a coma in 92 and you woke up in 96, was anything really, truly, truly different? Like, if you woke up and no one told you that you'd been in a coma for 4 years, and you just woke up and started walking around, the world kind of... I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the bad example. But point being is that not a tremendous amount changed in those couple little years right there. If you went into a coma today and woke up in 2029, oh my God. I mean, let's actually use some, like... Let's use a more relatable example. If you went into a coma in 2021 and woke up today, the world is a very different place today than it was 4 years ago. These little 4-year leaps, every 4 years, more things change in a 4-year window. Does that make sense? I know I probably made that way more confusing than I had to. But point being is that the rate at which things are changing is becoming exponentially... It's just so much faster. Things are changing so quickly. You can actually, like, sit back and watch things change. That's how quickly it's changing. I woke up in late 2019 when I couldn't find a single roll of TP in my city of 500,000. Yeah. 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 And I remember going into stores. Wait, you said 2019? Oh, late 2019. That's right. Okay. Yeah, you know what's funny? I was actually in college when this was going on. And when I say college, I'm not talking about how some people refer to it as underwater basket weaving classes. No. I was in school studying national security. I was in school studying something that actually, uh, well, I don't want to say something that actually matters, but something pretty important. You know, not some nonsense degree. So I was in school for national security. My professors were not goofy little weirdos. My professors were retired lieutenants, retired corrections officers and stuff like that. Like, these were people that were like in the field, like tough people, military veterans, cops, people that were like heavily involved in what I was studying. I got myself a criminal justice degree, and I was working on a national security degree. And one of my professors, who actually got me a pretty good job, when this whole COVID thing started, when it first started being like talked about, or maybe not first, because I know it was first mentioned at the end of 2019, but this was early 2020, probably February of 2020. You know, we would meet up once a week. The class was once a week. And he was telling us, each week he was just bringing it up. He was like, hey, you know, next time you go to the store, get yourself a little extra stuff. You don't know. You never know. Just, you know, it's probably, there's a chance it's nothing, but just in case it's something, get a little more. And the following week, kind of the same thing. The week after that, the same thing. And, you know, obviously this big scare, sickness scare, was escalating. And he was saying, he was like, he told us, he was like, it looks like they're probably going to shut things down. It looks like things are about to get rocky. So, you know, he didn't want to say a whole lot, but he said, just get ready, get prepared. And sure enough, that was the last class. Because COVID happened, everything was shut down, colleges were shut down, schools shut down, a lot of jobs were shut down, this place was shut down, that place was shut down, nobody could do anything, nobody could go anywhere, nobody could see anybody. And the rest of that semester was online. And I remember one of the assignments was going to be, we couldn't do it because it was no longer an in-person class, but one of the assignments was actually going to be designing yourself a bug-out bag. And just, to myself, in my head, I was laughing. I was like, man, professor, if you only knew. If you only knew what kind of videos I make every day. I was like, oh my god, like I should be the one teaching this class if you want to talk about bug out bags and getting yourself ready. But yeah, late 2019, early 2020, before everything came crashing down, my professor was even warning us about it. He was like, just get yourself ready. You're going to the grocery store either way. Get yourself a little extra. If you're gonna buy a case of water, buy 2 cases of water. If you're gonna buy, you know, some cereal, some canned goods, buy a little extra. He said there's a good chance you might not need it, but guess what? If you end up not needing it, now you have 2 weeks worth of food. You don't have to go to the grocery store the following week. He said, just get ready. Just be prepared, that's all. Stay on your toes. Leave me in the woods with no electronics and an axe. AI can take off to the moon or Mars. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I know a lot of people think that, like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people resist AI. A lot of people are afraid of AI. I like some aspects of AI in theory. I'd like to keep my distance from it for the most part. But here's the thing, you know, I mean, like, look at the Amish. Well, Is it safe to assume that they have, modernized at least a teeny tiny bit at this point, the Amish? I'm sure that they've come around a little, right? I don't know. I'm asking. I truly don't know. I would assume that they probably utilize a little bit of what we have here in the modern world. Maybe. Either way, AI takeover. The Amish will continue to survive and thrive. And the older I get, the more interested I am in that kind of a world. Now, I wouldn't want to move to like the Amish country. I wouldn't want to become Amish or live entirely that way. But there is something refreshing about simplicity and just doing things yourself, not relying on other people to do it or machines to do it. I like that simplicity. And like what you just said right there, Morgan, leave me in the woods with no electronics and an axe. That's somewhat of a goal of mine. I would like to buy, at some point in my life, I would like to buy a small cabin in the woods. Now, I wouldn't be like an anti-technology, complete and totally 100% off the grid type of person, but I'd probably be, I'd like to be as self-sufficient as possible. But yeah, I would thrive in the woods. I don't even need a cabin. Give me a tent. Give me a cargo van to live in. I could live in a cargo van, by the way. In fact, if I didn't have a dog, I would probably be currently living in a cargo van. I love that idea. The whole van life thing. I've been in love with that idea for 10 years. And I've been wanting to do that. If I didn't have a dog, I'd probably put a majority of my stuff in a storage unit, buy a cargo van, and call it a day. Cheaper than rent. And I don't have to drive to work. I live pretty far from work. I have 2 jobs, and both of them are very close to one another, and neither one is anywhere near me. So I drive all the way out to one. I leave my house, like, early in the morning. I clock in before the average human being is even awake. I do my 8 and I'm out the gate, and guess what I do after that? I go to my other job. Not every single day, not 6 days a week like I do my main job. But guess what? I can get there in about 10 minutes. And then 10 o'clock at night, I got that long drive home. So imagine I cut that long drive to and from work out of the equation, and I just lived in a friggin' E150. How about that? What's the difference? I wouldn't be spending any time in it. I would just be sleeping in it. I spend no time at home because I'm always at work. Minus the last 2.5 weeks because of this friggin' injury. Anyway. When the government says national security, it means continuity of government. Yeah, oftentimes. Let me specify, by the way. Before I said I was working on a national security degree. The correct phrase would be professional securities degree. And it branched in 3 different directions, national security being one, cybersecurity being the other, or being 2, and corporate security being 3. Now, initially, when I transferred from the one college to this larger university, what you would normally do under this professional securities umbrella is pick one of the 3 that you want to lean into. You study all 3, but you take additional classes of whichever of the 3 is your preference, or whichever of the 3 you plan on, focusing on, and that being your career path. So when I first started this, it was national security. And the more I learned, the more I developed more of an interest in corporate security. So as opposed to working for the Department of Homeland Security, as an example, instead of that, potentially down the line, being the corporate security officer of some company. That's what I found a little bit more interesting. You know, coming up with business continuity plans. The more I learned about the three, the more I realized, I was like, you know what, I think that one's ringing a little bit more of a bell for me. That one's clicking a little bit more. I like that. That early 2020 was interesting. I was a freshman in high school. After that spring break, I didn't go back till my senior year. Wow. So you basically just didn't go to high school, kind of, right? 2.5 out of the 4 years? Wow. Those 4 years of high school, more time was spent not actually in high school. You know who I felt especially bad for? You know who I think got it the worst? Well, actually, you know what? You know, not to go dark, but who really got it the worst were the people that were like actually sick, like elderly people that were actually sick and in nursing homes and hospitals and dealing with their medical issues and not being allowed to see their families, like their families not being allowed in and out of hospitals for, you know, safety reasons, and, you know, not getting the opportunity to say goodbye. Those are the ones who got it the worst. Again, not to get dark, that's not really where I wanted to go with this, but you know who I also feel especially bad for? The high school graduates and the college graduate. Or no, let me rephrase that. The high school athletes and the college athletes who did not get to showcase their skills and were skilled, determined, hardworking, and talented enough to get an athletic scholarship, but didn't get to showcase their skills on the field, on the court, on the whatever, and didn't and missed out on that opportunity. Those people are ones that I definitely felt bad for. I felt horrible. It's like, my God, these juniors, seniors in high school, you know, preparing themselves to go off to college, didn't get an opportunity to showcase, to perform, and get the athletic scholarship that they probably would have gotten if they got to showcase and perform. And same go for the college graduates who were looking to become professional athletes and were skilled and talented enough to probably become professional athletes. And maybe, because of what was going on, didn't get picked up, didn't get noticed, didn't get recognized because they weren't playing. I felt bad for them. It's rough. Okay, in the woods with an axe and night vision. There we go. Does anybody here actually have night vision goggles, by the way? I want to get myself a pair. I don't want like a bulky, clunky pair, though. I want something a little bit more... I want something a little bit more lightweight. Let's see. Still graduated? Good! That is awesome. Good for you. And my daughter says, no hoarding, Dad. I say I'm preparing for what's to come. She's starting to come around, seeing... Yeah. How old is she, if you don't mind me asking? Because oftentimes we resist what our parents and or grandparents are doing or the way that they're thinking as as youngsters, but the older we get, the more it actually starts to make sense. It was just pushed online the whole way. Yeah, so was the next semester and a half for me. I actually stopped because I felt as though I wasn't really getting value out of the online. Because I could have been doing online before COVID happened anyway. Online classes were always an option for me. And I opted out of that. I was like, no, I'd rather be in the actual classroom with actual people because that's just my learning style. I learn a little bit better when I'm sitting at a desk, when I'm sitting in a room. So I was like, all right. Now everything's 100% online for God knows how long. And I intentionally wasn't doing online classes because I can't really learn this way. So I chose to postpone. I was like, you know what? Go on my leave of absence, and at some point in the future, I will re-enroll. My to-do list, yes. Would like to, very expensive. Attached to a bump helmet. 39. Okay, yeah, 39 seems like... Yeah, I would say really anywhere in your 30s, probably. You start to, wake up a little bit, and you start to be like, oh, wow, you know what? The old man was right. Man. I'll tell you one thing that I'm happy I avoided. My entire family's financial IQ. I have a really smart family, but man, they are stupid with money. All of them. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one family member that I am related to that has any form of financial intelligence. And I don't say that, to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I have been told, when I first started, when I was, young, after high school, and I was starting working full time for the first time, and I was clocking like 60 hours a week, and I was like I was too busy working to spend any money, so it was all kind of stacking up in the bank, and I remember being told by one of my family members, "Hey, spend it while you got it." That's the worst possible thing you could have said to like a 19-year-old, or whatever I was. Spend it while you got it. I've been told by family members that I should be rewarding myself. I mean, nobody says anything to me anymore, but like years ago, I should be rewarding myself. Oh, you work so hard. You should, buy stuff and go on and just go on trips and you should spend it. You work hard for it. You should spend it. You should reward yourself. By blowing it all? No, thank you. Not on my watch. See, again, I don't say it to be disrespectful, but I come from the type of family to where if they found a $5 bill on the ground, they would run to the store and figure out what they can buy for $5. They wouldn't even wait until they got another $5 so they could buy something for $10. No, they'd run to the store and figure out a way to spend it. I don't know. I'm sure it's not just my family. A lot of families are like that. A lot of people are like that. It's just the way people are. It's the American way. Consumption. George Carlin said it best. He said it's no long. He said baseball is no longer, you know, America's pastime. Oh, baseball! No, it's about shopping and eating. He said, forget the bald eagle. The symbol for America should be a bowl of macaroni and cheese. Man, I would do anything to bring George Carlin back from the dead. The world needs George Carlin now more than ever. And he'd have so much material. My God. Let's see. Bet you would have actually, but it looks like E4 checks I with my life. Can't blame you. Good for you though. Only half. Still with my parents though. I look at myself as spoiled in that sense. You know, that's not a bad thing. And if they're helping you by allowing you to stay living in their house, and you said you're on the younger side. What did you say you were? You said you graduated. Yeah, you got to be like 19 or 20. So that's still fairly young. So yeah, like within the next like year or so or whatever, as you like establish yourself. I don't know if you're in college or if you're working full time or what you're doing, but like once you get to that point, once you get to like a good point, if you choose to stay there, yeah, that benefits you, but you could be doing stuff to benefit them. You could be helping them out and whatnot. There's a lot of different things you could do, and you know it could be like a symbiotic thing, and you know stay there and you know save as long as you can. It could really you know it could really truly kickstart a person's life just by staying at home an extra couple of years. I see nothing wrong with that. Not all, but some millennials don't understand what's going on, what it's going to take to get through the next few years. Yeah. I don't know if anybody really knows. I don't know if it's just a millennial thing. Because, like, I'm a millennial. And I was raised by a bunch of people who are not millennials and they're completely clueless. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have a pretty tight knit circle of friends that are pretty solid in all areas. They're in a good place mentally, they're in a good place physically, their health, they're in a good place financially. Or even if they're not in like a great place financially, they are on track to be or striving to be. Those are kind of what my friends look like. Healthy, or at least health conscious, clear minded and determined, and goal oriented and looking for success. And I don't have a tremendous amount of friends, but the friends that I do have, those are the traits that I look for in a friend. I would say most do not. 20 currently. Yeah, 20 is a good age. And you know the cool thing about being 20? It's also a very like forgivable age. Like that's a good age to like try stuff out. When I was like fresh out of high school, I worked so many completely different jobs. None of them like had anything to do with the next job. I would try out so many different things. I worked like every job under the sun. And like I said, I don't know if you're in college or if you plan on going to college, but you know, I try to keep these opinions to myself because I know it's not what you know the typical parent wants to hear a guy on YouTube say. But I always encourage people, like, in between high school and college, take a year off. Just work. Don't go, like, you know, don't step out of high school and step into college. You can, I mean, you know, I say work. Take a year off school and just work. Get a feel for the working world. Get a feel for, like, real world responsibility. Start thinking outside the box. Like, maybe you're like, I don't know. I mean, when I was in high school, everybody's first job was, you know, a cashier at the local grocery store. Everybody, after, like, basically work was high school. Everybody would leave school and we'd all be there. We'd all be working there. So think outside the box. Like, yeah, you're a cashier at a grocery store, but what would it be like to be, you know, I don't know, maybe the assistant manager of a grocery store or something like that? So maybe it kind of like gets the gears moving in your head in between that high school and college year off, and maybe that'll inspire an idea of something that you might want to study. Business management. Maybe if you went straight out of high school, you would have been studying like art or something like that. You go and you get a degree in art, and it's like, okay, now what am I going to do with this? Now I think art's important. I think history is important. But going and getting a degree in art history, unfortunately, ain't going to pay the bills. It's actually going to be a bill for you to pay for years and years and years to come, unfortunately. And like I said, I love art and I love history. But that year off where you just do nothing but work. Number one, you're being productive. You're making money, you're probably, hopefully, saving money. And you're getting ideas. You're networking, you're meeting new people. Maybe opportunities can pop up. Maybe a promotion presents itself to you in that year. You never know. Or at the very least, inspires an idea of something that you might actually want to study. Business management. Maybe that's not something that you would have picked straight out of high school. Why would it be? Most 17 or 18-year-olds aren't thinking, hey, you know what? I want to study business management. No. When you're 17, 18, you're picking a college, you're picking a course of study as something that you're just simply interested in. Something that you like. You know, if I went to college straight out of high school, first of all, I was actually offered a writing scholarship. Pretty good writer. Didn't want to be a writer, though. If I did go straight out of high school, it probably would have been for that. It probably would have been some form. I probably would have had a degree in some form of like literature. Where instead, I took some time off. I worked. I met new people. I tried out a bunch of different types of jobs, and I experimented in a lot of different ways. And I came to the conclusion that I wanted to enroll in college and study criminal justice. That's the last thing on the list of anything that I would have even considered stepping out of high school. So I'm glad I did it the way that I did it. Thanks for explaining it better than me. Not had dinner yet. Well, it's easier to talk than it is to type, I believe. Getting a good education here, Drew. Let's see. Abraham, welcome aboard. Happy Friday night to you, your friends, and your family. Do you drink? I actually do not drink. For me, it's been, I think, 6 years. Don't congratulate me. I am not a recovering alcoholic. I hardly drank in the first place. It was about 6 years ago I decided, you know what? I want to just not even drink anymore. Because I had noticed that even by having, like, even a drop of alcohol, well, maybe not a drop of alcohol, but if you have, like, a drink or two or six, you know, the next day, you're just so, like, slow and heavy and sluggish. And, like, just the energy's depleted, I'm unmotivated, and I don't like feeling unmotivated, and I don't like not having energy. I like waking up and just being like, time to go. So I always notice that. And by the way, I never even really got like drunk. Sure. Well, when I was like younger, sure. But prior to deciding, I was like, yeah, you know what? No, I don't want to drink anymore. Prior to that, I would drink maybe like 3 times a year. And those 3 times a year weren't enough to get drunk. I'd have like 1 or 2 or 3 drinks. Just socially, casually. I would drink it the same way I would drink a root beer. Just sip on it. Something to drink. Just a beverage. That's how I would drink. I wouldn't get drunk. I wouldn't go crazy. So even like minimally drinking the way that I did, just a couple times a year, 2-3 times a year, 2-3 drinks per drinking session, I had noticed that the next day I had less energy than I would have if I didn't drink at all. The fact that there was like any amount of alcohol in my system the next day would lead to a lower level of energy and a lower level of motivation. I don't like that. Lacking energy and unmotivated are not synonymous with my name. It doesn't match. It doesn't feel right. It's not a good fit. I'd rather wake up and have the energy and be motivated and just always be ready to go. I don't like feeling like slow and heavy and sluggish and dragging my feet. I don't like that. So to answer your question, no, I don't drink. It's just what I noticed. And it's funny, whenever it comes up and I tell people, I was like, yeah, no, I haven't, drank in like about 6 years. People are like, oh, congratulations, good for you. Clean and serene. I'm like, no. I wasn't an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not in recovery. Never had a drinking problem. But the fact that I put like a timestamp on it, yeah, it's been a little over 6 years, or it's been about 6 years, or whatever it's been. People think that it's like, 6 years alcohol free after fighting an addiction. Nope. Not for me. So I always tell people, don't congratulate me. I didn't accomplish anything. I didn't, fight off the demons and now I changed my life and turned my life. Nope. Other people deserve to be congratulated, not this guy, because I just decided it's a type of beverage that I don't like to consume. That's all. That's why I quit smoking cannabis. Good for you. That is awesome. That is what we like to hear. See, I've never been a smoker. I was actually told by somebody that I should start to smoke. But that's just because I'm so... Well, you know how I said I don't like to drink because it interferes with my energy? Well, a lot of people in my life would prefer me to smoke to reduce my level of energy. People are like, man, you are way too hyper. You are way too ready to go. Friggin', 15, 16, 17-hour days, almost every day sometimes. You know what I was doing over the summer? I was working 6 days a week at my full-time job, as I always do. Working my 40 hours, plus a whole additional day of overtime every single week. I also work a second job, where in the summer I was working maybe 3 or 4 nights a week. So 6 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, almost every single day. On the 2, sometimes 3 days a week where I didn't have my other job, I was doing Uber Eats. On my 1 day off, I have 1 day off of both jobs, I would spend 12 hours on my day off doing Uber Eats. People look at me and be like, dude, you're a psycho. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Tell me something I haven't already told myself. Who's got my money? Let's go. So yeah, there are people, well, I shouldn't say there are people. There are like 2 people that have told me, dude, you gotta smoke. And these are coming from people that don't even smoke. They tell me, dude, you gotta start smoking. You got way too much energy. You need some form of downtime. I was like, I sleep. And they're like, yeah, like 3 hours a night. That's all I need. Got that high-speed charging batteries. Does anyone think, Rob, welcome aboard. Does anyone think that the gold-silver ratio will go to the same ratio as the mining ratio or close to that? You know, I don't know. That's actually a good question. That's definitely something to explore. You actually, you know what you probably just did right there is you probably just inspired a new video, because I'm probably gonna have to like really read through a lot and refamiliarize myself, because I'm just now getting back into it. I've been a little out of the loop up until about maybe 2 weeks ago or so. I haven't really been paying as close attention this entire year, really. But now I'm going to refamiliarize myself the mining ratio and compare it to the gold to silver ratio. But from what I do remember, I don't know. I don't know if I can see it. At least anytime soon. What do you guys think? In the chat. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know if I can see it closing in like in the near future. How you got to stack so much? Yeah, just years of just grinding. Man, if only you guys were here. Like peak COVID. Oh my god, that was when I was like a YouTube madman. I was a psycho. I was pumping out 2-3 videos a day. I was live streaming like 2 or 3 times a week or something like that. I was thinking that if that did happen, it would happen under President Trump once he ends the private Western central banking system, which includes the private Fed, IRS, and BIS. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there would be a direct reaction between those entities and the gold to silver ratio off the bat, but I don't know. I also don't know if those entities are going to necessarily be ended. I would imagine dramatically reduced in size, though. Size and strength. How many ounces of silver per month do you get? At the moment, 0. And the reason for that is because since the end of last month, I have been out on injury. I was explaining it earlier in the stream. I'm not going to repeat the entire thing, but I got a back, or I guess technically a shoulder muscle that's attached to the back injury, and I've been out for about 3 weeks now. And it was a work-related injury, so I am getting workers' comp. But that's only 70% of lost wages. And it's only 70% of lost wages at the job that I got hurt at. I'm out of my second job as well because of this, and I'm getting 0% for that. So at the moment, I'm getting nothing. But I'm hoping around this time next week, or maybe even a little earlier, maybe 5 or 6 days from now, 4, 5, 6 days, I'm hoping I can get cleared, get my driving restriction lifted, because doctor said no driving. I'm hoping I can get that lifted, and I'm hoping I can get cleared to at least return to work on a light duty status. I would love to return to work on a light duty status and just kind of sit there. Because that's what the boss said. He was like, hey, you know, if you can get light duty, just come in and just sit in the chair and do like as much as you can from the chair. And as for all the physical stuff, you know, we have your backup guy who's been covering me this whole time. Just we'll have him do the more physical stuff. I'm like, that sounds beautiful. I would love nothing more than to sit in the chair and make him do all the work. And get fully paid instead of 70% paid. But yeah. I don't think it's going to be a problem getting cleared to go back for at least light duty, because I think I could probably get cleared for that today. The only problem is I have a driving restriction because of the injury. So it's not really not allowed to do light duty. I have no way to get there is like the main problem, the main roadblock right now. But as soon as I get back, it's going to take me probably, to be honest, it's probably going to take me about a month to recover, both physically and financially. I'm probably going to have to work and spend nothing until I get everything back to where I want it to be. And then I'm going to get back to aggressively investing and probably picking up at least a couple ounces of silver every week or every other week. I have been dying to get some generic silver rounds, like the random design ones where you never know what you're gonna get. I miss getting those in the mail. It was always a surprise. I started stacking when I got my first job, and I've never stopped. Where did that go? I put at least 20% of my net into stacking, mostly gold. Not bad. 20%. That's a lot. Nice. I believe that Trump will end the private IRS first. Listen, I would love nothing more than for the IRS to get metaphorically beaten over the head with a friggin' baseball bat. See, that's another thing that I'm trying to financially recover from. The tax bill that I just got hit with. How does someone that works 70 hours a week, you have any idea how, like, unmotivating that is? For you to work your friggin' face off, for you to quite literally break your back at work. I didn't break my back, but I did hurt my back. Break your back every single day, 6 days a week, and for you to spend the entire summer spending your only day off working even more. That's almost 365 days of straight work, no breaks, no rest. All for them to say, hey, you owe us all this money. Pay up. God. No wonder people don't want to work. You get punished for it, kind of. There's like a financial penalty for working hard. It sucks. The guy who tried to end the Fed got his face in Daily Plaza. That sucks. I'm working on a cash desk myself. Got some debt to clear up. Also, and I don't want to get jammed up. Have to sell metal. Yeah, it's better to have a little bit of a cash reserve. A just in case fund. Good portion of my just in case fund went to the IRS. Thanks for everything. I was rear-ended by an 18-year-old. He was on his cell phone. Oh, God. Slammed into me going 65. I was stopped and he didn't use his... Jesus Christ. God. Sorry that happened. That... Ugh. Can't even imagine. Good God. Put your phones down. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what the text says. It will never be that important. Don't care who it's from, what it says, it will never be that important. It can wait. Knocked out, but I'm good. Man, well, was that concussion the worst of it? I don't know. Getting hit, somebody going 65. That sounds... Oof. I don't even want to think about that. Glad you're still with us. Yeah, fortunately, I've never been in a car accident before. Well, minor. 2 minor car accidents, and I wasn't the driver, and I was in the passenger seat both times. Just fender benders. Never been in like a full-on car accident. Thank God. Nothing broke. Yeah, well. God was with you that day. If you get hit by, a car going 65 by a guy who's not paying attention, flying 65, no brakes, crashes into you. And, hey, if the car took more damage than you did, it's a win, right? It's not the ideal outcome, obviously, but that's a win. It's what the car's there for, if you think about it. Better the car than you. That's what I would say if I got in a car accident. Better the car than me. Me and my wife owe taxes this year too. It's a drag. And people making under 150K a year only account for only 3% of tax revenue. That's pretty much everybody, including me and my wife. Yeah, that new 150K concept, by the way, that's another interesting one. I was talking about this on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer to call it. If you guys don't already follow me on Twitter or X, it's at Mykie DYDSS. I'm going crazy on X right now. I'm tweeting all friggin' day. But I was talking about this new no income tax if you make under 150K. I was talking about this on X. I don't know how I feel about the concept. I think a flat tax would be more ideal, or would make more sense. Unless, of course, the idea or the end goal is to get rid of income tax as a whole, then I can see no income tax on people making less than 150 a year to get the ball rolling. I don't think that's likely to pass, though. I don't think that's likely. I don't think that's something we're going to be seeing. All of our federal taxes that we pay go to the owners of the private Fed. Yeah, and that's another thing. 90... What is it? 90... I think it's 93% of the country makes less than 150 a year. So does that mean 93% of the country, like let's just say they got rid of taxes for no income tax if you make under 150, they it's 100% guaranteed, that's just the way it is moving forward, that is now set in stone, let's just say. That's 93% of the country, which means wouldn't 93% of the population be voting for how taxes are supposed to be utilized, where those tax dollars are supposed to be going? Like if they're not paying income tax, but the people who are making 150 and up are, which is only 7% of the country, 93% of the country is going to be voting for how 7% tax dollars are going to be used. I don't know. To me, I don't know. That's a little weird to me. Unless, of course, it's to get the ball rolling. I don't know. Either way, yes, no, maybe so. I don't think it's going to happen either way. It's an interesting concept, and it's something to talk about, and it's it's something that we can explore, but I don't think it's likely going to happen. My tax agent told me some people are getting back more than they paid because of this. Oh, because of kids? Yeah, there are a lot of child tax credits. This girl I went out with one time, she wanted to have a kid for the tax credit. I said, "Are you a psycho? Are you insane?" And she said, like, she said some, I don't know, I don't remember, $3,000, whatever it was. I was like, "Do you have any idea how much money you could save? You can save way more than $3,000 just by not having a kid. Gonna have a kid just to get $3,000? That sounds like a purchase." In 1880, America had a tariff tax that lasted until 1913. In 87, America was making so much money that they hired a group of people to figure out a way to spend it. Get hired. Yay, if you want to pay me to tell you how to spend it, I'll friggin' do the job. That time was the best time for the American people in history. Our government was super small. The people paid no taxes until 1913. Yeah, it's true. Income tax, I don't want to say is a relatively new thing, but wasn't always a thing. And from everything that I read, the income tax was only supposed to be temporary. Same could be said about the quote-unquote gold confiscation, which wasn't really a full-on confiscation. They weren't like knocking everybody's doors down saying, "Give us your gold, give us your gold." It was kind of more of like an order to say like, "Hey, bring us the gold." It was and the way it was sold to the people was that it was kind of like to bail us out. And a lot of people back then turned in their gold for the sake of the country, is how I understand it. I could be mistaken. But how did that go? How did that go? No taxes on labor, isn't that in the Constitution? There's a lot of things in the Constitution that might as well not be, because it doesn't get followed anyway. For example, Um, what does it say? Nothing but gold and silver coin should be used as tender in payment of debt. Isn't that in the? I have a silver round that says that. Silver and the gold. You know, people can say what they want about it. Oh, you dinosaurs caring about your silver and your gold. It's all about Bitcoin now. Listen, Bitcoin's cool. I get it. But, you know, silver and gold, say what you want about it. You know, it's old school. First of all, I am old school. I may be a younger guy, but I'm old school. In most ways. I'm new school in certain ways, but I'm old school in most ways. And that's one of my favorite things about silver and gold. It's old school money. But it's constitutionally recognized as money. It's not just like something that we used as money as one point in time. No, it's like there's doctrine. Like it is constitutionally recognized as money. And if you take it back even further, it's also biblically recognized as money. So you can say whatever you want about it. It is real money. Real, true, honest money. Like you can have your opinion on silver and gold. Oh, it's stupid. It underperformed. Well, I mean that's not really an opinion. But Bitcoin is better. There's an opinion. They can have that opinion. It's a fair opinion. If somebody prefers one over the other, that's fair. You can have your preferences, but you can't deny the fact that it's real, true, honest money. Internationally recognized as money, constitutionally recognized as money, biblically recognized as money. The U.S. Constitution states that only gold or silver coin was legal tender. Yeah, oh yeah, we said the same thing at the same time, it looks like. We didn't pay any taxes until 1913. It was amended. All of that tariff tax money got spent on the national parks. Silver used to be worth more than gold at least twice in history. Wow, can you imagine? Can you imagine a world where the gold to silver ratio gets so close that it actually starts going the other way? Imagine going from like, you know, 1 to 75, 1 to 50, 1 to 25, 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 1 to 1, 2 to 1. Huh. Or 1.5 to 1. Imagine that. Imagine an ounce and a half of gold being the equivalent to 1 ounce of silver. I'm just being imaginative here, but just think about it. Imagine a world that looked like that. Make no mistake, I don't believe that's happening. I'm just saying. It's fun to think about. Traded all my gold for silver on March 18th, 2020. Wow. What a time to do it. The gold to silver ratio was 128.75 to 1. Wow. You know what's funny? I've been saying for years. Now, I've never traded any of my silver for gold. I've never traded any of my gold for silver. I have only ever traded my dollars for metals. And I've never traded my metals back for any dollars. All of the metals that I have acquired over the years are still in my possession, with the exception of a handful of coins that I gave away as gifts or or whatever. But I've never sold any of my medals. I've never traded one medal for the other. And what I've stacked is still in my possession. But I've been saying for years, if the gold to silver ratio ever starts to make sense, I'd like to trade a little bit of silver for gold. Rinse and repeat. I wouldn't trade all my silver for gold. I would trade some. Everything that you're looking at on screen, I'm keeping all this. All those rounds, the Aztec calendar, the 10-ounce bars, the creatures of the north, the Queen's Beast, I'm keeping all this. But what I've predominantly stacked over the years, you know, I have like mint tubes upon mint tubes upon mint tubes of silver eagles. Just your everyday silver eagles. Eagle on top of eagle on top of eagle on top of eagle. I have a bunch of eagles. The silver eagle is the foundation of my stack. I have more silver eagles than I have any other coin. In fact, actually I don't know, but I would assume I probably have more silver eagles than everything else combined. Everything that's not a silver eagle combined. Don't quote me on that, but probably, or at least close to it. Point being is the silver eagle is the foundation of my stack, and if the gold to silver ratio ever like started to make sense, I could see myself trading a couple of silver eagles, or maybe a tube here and there for some gold. Rinse and repeat. Gold to silver ratio widens back out. Get back to trading dollars for silver. Gold to silver ratio gap closes in. Trade a little bit of silver for gold. And guess what? Maybe a couple of decades down the road, I'll have enough gold to trade for some land. You never know. Maybe. All by just being strategic. Now all I have is silver. Hey, well, between the two metals. See, here's the tricky thing. And this is why I think it's good to have both metals. Is because I do think gold is the superior metal between the two. I think gold is just the powerhouse metal. But there's way more opportunity in silver at this time. So one is like the safe haven, the powerhouse, the stability metal. The more like it's just more it's more reliable. Silver can be a little volatile, a little more volatile. Gold has more stability, but it has more opportunity and potential for that pop. Gold, I can't really see it doing anything like crazy. I can't see, gold rapidly going up in price for any reason. I could see silver doing that though. So they both have their pros, they both have their cons. Or actually, you know what? I don't even know if either metal has much of a con. They both have their pros. They both have their plus sides. You just have to identify which plus side makes more sense for you. And the good news is, there's no wrong answer. If you truly, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, believe that gold is better in every way, and you're stacking nothing but gold, I think you're on track to win. And if the opposite is true, you're 100% all in on silver, I think you're probably also setting yourself up to win. I think either of the precious metals are a win. I do believe that they're going to be a relatively slow burn, but I do believe that we're on track to win. I do personally believe that the precious metals, over a long period of time, a 10-year window, 20-year window, I do believe that they will underperform other markets. I do believe that. They've been underperforming other markets for decades upon decades. But doing a whole lot better than the dollar. That's for sure. They're moving in upward directions. Not as fast as other markets, but they are still moving in an upward direction. There is still that upward trajectory. And it has that real deal value attached to it. And just by looking at what the dollar bill's purchasing power was 4 years ago compared to today, and seeing and, coincidentally noticing that the spot price of silver and gold have both gone up almost the exact percentage of which the dollar has gone down in the last 4 or 5 years. Interesting. It's almost like they're a hedge against inflation. Almost the exact percentage that the dollar bill went down, silver and gold went up. Huh. Weird. The point I'm trying to make is that regardless of what your precious metal of choice is, I think you're on track to win. I think we all are. As a matter of fact, regardless of what your asset class of choice is, whether it be real estate, whether it be the stock market, whether it be precious metals, whether it be business, I think you're on track to win. I think if you're in business, stocks, real estate, and or precious metals, you're on track to win. Now, sure, we'll find out which of those four will be the ultimate performer of the four, but guess what? All four are going to outperform the dollar, and all four are going to outperform everyone that's not involved in the markets. Something to think about. But that's my true belief right there. I do believe that the silver, I do believe that the gold are both a winning ticket. It's my honest opinion. And that's been my honest opinion for about 7.5 years now. Side note, I like that little rant that I just went on right there. I gotta put a timestamp on that, about 2 hours, about 2.5 hours in. I'm gonna clip that, and I'm gonna make a separate video about that some point next week. About 2 hours and 30 minutes in, talking about how gold and silver are both winning ticket. It's another thing I like about these live streams. We talk about something, and I'm like, you know what? It's a good conversation right here. I think I got to make a video about it, like a separate video. Maybe the market correction will show us something worthwhile. Up until 1913, the gold to silver ratio was 15-1, but has since climbed as high as 128.75 to 1. Yeah, that's a wild number right there, especially to trade your gold for silver at. They manipulate the price of gold and silver by the paper, gold and paper silver that are traded in the stock market. Gold has already taken off, and now it's silver's turn. If you look at the national debt clock, it has a 7-1 ratio on it. Yeah, you know, honestly, I still don't know how I feel about the debt clock. Look at the page every day for the past 8 years or so. It's changed a lot and has given us about twice the amount of information that it used to give us. Yeah, maybe I'll have to relook at it then. Because I looked at it a couple years. I looked at it quite a bit a couple years ago, and I was like, some of what I was looking at didn't seem to add up. Maybe I was missing something, but I'll have to take a look at it again. But hey, unfortunately, I am losing my voice. And I need my voice to film more videos tomorrow. So I think we're probably going to have to wrap up this live stream right here. And good God, it's been almost 3 hours. That's a pretty solid live stream if you ask me. But hey, thank you everybody for tuning in to tonight's live stream. I'll try to do another one soon. The live streams are fun. I like doing these. Like a live Q&A or something like that. But thank you everybody for tuning in to tonight's show. I have a video dropping tomorrow, obviously. If you are in the Precious Metals VIP Club, that video will be posted at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to just wait for it to post on YouTube, it'll be 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Did I say a.m. or p.m.? 6 a.m. in the VIP Club, 6 p.m. on YouTube is when the video will be posted. And that video is titled, let me find out. I have a couple that I've pre-recorded. I just have them banked. Oh, good. It's a sunshine bar video, and it's using the little decoder lens to prove whether certain coins or certain rounds and bars are real or fake. That's what tomorrow's video is going to be. So keep your eyes peeled for that. 6 in the morning in the Precious Metals VIP Club. 6 in the evening here on YouTube. If you're not following me on Instagram or Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it, please follow me on there. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate your stopping by. Thanks for supporting the show. Take care, and don't you dare stop smiling.